Hello and welcome back, hackers. So many of the groups have created exemplary word clouds for us to understand the genre of the digital literacy narrative, or the genre of a narrative or a story more broadly. Some of you some of your groups made word clouds that seem to be focused just on the themes, and that's okay. I expected there to be some confusion over this process. We are going to do the same process for the next 2 units. So hopefully we can learn from some of that confusion. I'm going to bring up some of the word clouds that I think particularly hit the mark when it comes to understanding the particular genre of narrative based on these examples. So first off, I'm going to bring up from 1101-53 group 2. As you can see here, I'll make this larger. There are several of these common codes being used. Conflict is one of the biggest. Theme is also very large. Characters, dialogue, and even dialect, which I think I would agree is a little bit different than dialogue, right? It would mean that the dialogue has some type of slang use to it or regional accent. It looks like in this word cloud, dialogue got put in twice, but that's okay. One is the English spelling and the other is the American spelling, and I'm sure that I have made that mistake in my own typing up of those in the instructions. But this is a good word cloud. It focuses on what the fundamentals of a narrative are. Let's take a look at another one here. This is 1101-54, group 3. Characterization is very large here, but we also have theme, tone, and conflict. But I think I would agree with this. Characterization is very important when we're creating narratives. All right, let's take a look at some of our other word clouds here. A couple more that I think hit the spot. Here we have 1101-55, group 1. Conflict, theme, characters. These are all large in the word cloud here, showing that those are some of the most important codes or common codes for this genre. And then last but not least, we had 1101-55, dialogue, group 2. Dialogue is very large. Certainly conflict and resolution and characters would be. So why have we all, as groups, gotten such varied understandings of this particular genre, especially since we have read the same stories? So shouldn't we have picked out the same codes? Well, not necessarily. There are an abundance of codes happening in these 3 examples. And I would say that because each group has a different understanding of the genre, then it doesn't mean that every genre uses every code. It really depends on what you, individuals in the group, but also the group, was concerned with the most when it came to those stories. What did each person think was being used to best effect? So this is what I mean when I say common codes, and this is why I don't just say pick out the fundamentals of the narrative or something like that, because these are social codes, right? They only make sense based on our interpretation of them. So we might really focus on the theme and the characters in our reading of it, or we might really focus on the conflict. But what these word clouds are important for is to have varied understandings of what a good narrative can be. Doesn't mean you have to use all the codes, but you would use the codes that you think worked the best in the 3 examples that we read. So let's go over our work for next week, we're going to start into the drafting phase of our blog. Before we do that, though, what I want you to do is to self-report on the group work that we've been doing. I want to do this for two reasons. One, it's very possible that many of you used tools outside of Blackboard, Snapchat, Facebook, and I know some of you have because I've seen some of those conversations or references to those. So it's good for me to know if you did the group work but outside of the LMS, right? Outside of Blackboard. So you'll put your name, you'll tell me what course you're in, what group you were in, and then just check all that apply here for what you used. And there is a space for others. So if you used some type of communication tool other than listed here, I would like to hear that. I also want to know if you felt that your group was fairly active. This is important, right? An active group gets more done. And we're going to take this point into the next unit. A little bit of foreshadowing here. We're going to talk about what makes a digital community later. And one of the things is if the members are active. You could also, if you would answer what tools the group used to communicate, and if they worked for you and the group or not. If you didn't have access to those tools, I'd like to know. And then, last but not least, if you would let me know if you would rather these weekly updates be in video form or podcast form, then I can plan accordingly. So for next week, we're going to be reading about audience from the free textbook. And then we're going to be doing some discussion board work as a whole class. The first thing that I want you to do is upload just a free write. Remember, just writing from the top of your head to answer these questions, and if you have to write blah 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 before you can pick up the pace, that is completely fine. In this free write, due by Wednesday, I want you to, or due on Wednesday, I want you to show the event when you struggled or excelled with a particular digital technology. Now, instead of just telling me about the event, you're going to show it. So you're going to use as many of these common codes as we came up with in the group work as you can. If you can think of common codes that worked really well in Stevenson, Lockett, or Newman, you can try to use those common codes in the same way: characterization, conflict, dialogue. And then Saturday by midnight, I want you to respond to 2 other posts. I want you to try to respond to those who are outside of your working group. That way we get a little bit of outsider perspective. And you're going to answer a few questions. You're going to explain what common codes that your peer used to the best effect, and then which one might help them expand or enhance their narrative. Also, which common codes do you think you need to use more of in your story? So all of this work, the free writing work next week, is going to lead us up to submitting our first draft of the Digital Literacy Narrative blog. Now, this draft is only going to be 500 words, but it will be important that you upload it Saturday by midnight, because next week we are going to be peer reviewing these in groups. Basically, we're going to be answering questions about these drafts before you have to finalize them and turn them in. Now, I think it would be very helpful to turn these drafts of the blogs into the group blog tool. This will allow you not only to practice the formatting here. As you can see, I've explained at the bottom of the blog prompt, but it will allow you to respond to each other's blogs and answer those questions that will help. So all we're doing for next week is starting the free write and then turning in our draft, partial draft or first draft of the Digital Literacy Narrative blog Saturday by midnight. Alright, so that's it. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please let me know via Discord, email, or even phone call. And I hope everybody has a good, productive week. generating that partial draft of your digital literacy narrative blog. All right, I'll see everyone online.